We're waiting for the President of the Commission and our guests and co-heads from the region. And Commissioner Olivér VÁRHELYI will have the honor to be conducting the meeting today. I don't have my glasses. I don't see. guests, the conference Together for Albania will be starting very shortly, and we will need your full attention. Thank you very much to everybody for being with us today. Prime Minister Rama and our distinguished guests from the region are getting ready to join us, and of course from the EU, together with President von der Leyen, with President Charles Michel. Here they come. It is my pleasure to welcome them all to the conference Together for Albania, and it is my pleasure as well to welcome Commissioner Olivér VÁRHELYI, who will be chairing the conference today. Welcome, everybody. Welcome, Prime Minister, President.
We're about to start. So go at the back, please. Please. We're about to start now. Okay, we go. Bye. Okay.
Madam President, Mr. President, Presidents, Prime Ministers, dear guests, today is a crucial day for Albania. Today we're going to be showing our solidarity, our European solidarity towards Albania, an earthquake-torn country. And without further ado, let me hand over the floor to our President, Ursula von der Leyen.
President Michel, President Đukanović, Prime Minister Rama, Prime Minister PLENKOVIĆ, Prime Minister Branović, Prime Minister Spasovski, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, dear friends. Thank you very much for joining us today in such an impressive number. I wish you could stand here and have a look at this room. Last November, the earth shook in the dead of night, when everyone in Albania was fast asleep. 51 people lost their lives. 2 entire families of 8 perished when their houses collapsed. We have all heard their stories with a heavy heart. A young couple who was about to get married. A mother who died trying to protect her daughter. Tens of families opened their homes to homeless. When dawn arrived, the whole country was in mourning. And the whole country mobilized to rescue, to heal, to give shelter to those who had lost everything. Hundreds of Albanians volunteers working day and night in the dust. Many more donated clothes or money. This is a story of loss, but it's also a story of heroes. It is a story of solidarity among Albanians and among fellow Europeans. In a matter of hours after the earthquake, the first rescue teams from other European countries started to arrive in Albania. 200 Italian, Greek, Romanian firefighters digging in the rubble to search for survivors. We immediately activated the European Union Civil Protection Mechanism. And in the following days, our experts and engineers arrived in Albania to coordinate the operations and assess the damage. The whole European Union mobilized for a country that is at the heart of our continent, and that I hope, and I'm convinced, one day will also be part of our union. The people of Albania know that they belong in our European family now more than ever. Solidarity hasn't come only from the European Union. Today's impressive attendance testifies the international community's strong response to Albania's call. The whole world has mobilized in your support. From Montenegro to Canada, from Turkey to Israel, from Switzerland to the United States. We have seen Serbian and Kosovar rescue teams working together for their Albanian neighbors. We have seen that beyond any political divide, the Western Balkans have united in solidarity. And solidarity can save lives. In fact, solidarity has saved so many lives in Albania. The day after the quake, the rescue teams pulled 49 people from the rubble. Another entire family was found under the ruins of their house, covered with a thick layer of dust, but still alive. And this was thanks to our collective mobilization. But when the dust settled, the international mobilization did not stop. Tents, clothes, and food continued to arrive. After 3 dramatic months, most of the people who were left stranded have already gone back to their homes and found a new accommodation. Yet, Albania's needs are still massive and must be tackled with urgency. Thousands of private homes must be rebuilt. Schools and hospitals need restoration so that they can once again host pupils and patients. Businesses have been destroyed and new jobs must be created. The cost of the reconstruction is estimated around 1 billion euros. And it is clear that Albania alone cannot shoulder this burden. This is what brings us here today. Today we make a promise to the Albanian people. We promise that we are in for the long run. We promise that our solidarity will continue to be as strong as it was in the first hours after the earthquake. We pledge a sustained wave of investment for reconstruction. Ladies and gentlemen, no one can fill the void left by those who lost their lives. Yet together we can help Albania start over again. Together we can build schools and hospitals that meet the highest standards of seismic safety. Together we can reinforce Albania's civil protection capability. Together we can make your country stronger than it was before the quake. This conference marks a beginning of our cooperation for Albania's reconstruction. In the coming weeks and months, we will continue to work together. We will make sure that the pledges are delivered fully and on time. And we will make sure that our investment have the strongest impact on the ground in full transparency and accountability. But first of all, we must help meet the country's huge needs. The European institutions and member states have put together a strong pledge. The European Commission alone is pledging 100 million euros for Albania's reconstruction from the European Union's budget. That comes on top of the 15 million I already announced in December, and it does not include contributions from our member states. I invite all of you to contribute and to help Albania get back on its feet soon. Dear friends, since Albania regained its freedom, its people have shown their immense potential to the rest of the world. The country consolidated its economy and its institutions after decades of dictatorship. So many young Albanians got university degrees and prospered in their lives and careers. And after the quake, Albanians have shown that they are not just proud and talented people. Yes, they are. But they have also shown that they have great hearts. Today is our time to show solidarity. Today we stand at the side of Albania in a moment of need. Albania will rise from the ashes of this quake. It will rise as a stronger and safer country at the core of our European family. I count on you all. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Madam President. Let me invite now to the floor President Michel.
Madame la Présidente de la Commission, très chère Ursula, Monsieur le Premier ministre, cher Edi, Mesdames et Messieurs les chefs d'État, Mesdames et Messieurs les chefs de gouvernement, Excellences, Mesdames et Messieurs, chacun en vos titres et qualités. Les événements qui nous rassemblent aujourd'hui sont dramatiques. Et d'abord, nous pensons aux enfants, aux femmes, aux hommes dont la vie a été tragiquement secouée, bouleversée pour certains à tout jamais. Nous pensons à ceux qui ont perdu des êtres chers à leur cœur, ceux qui ont perdu leur foyer, ceux qui ont perdu leurs attaches. J'étais il y a quelques semaines en Albanie et j'ai vu les efforts immenses portés par les autorités pour tenter de rencontrer les besoins auxquels la population est confrontée. Et nous connaissons la résilience des Albanais, une résilience que les événements récents ont encore une fois mis en lumière. Cependant, cette résilience, elle doit être complétée, renforcée par une réponse solidaire, fraternelle, déterminée de la communauté que tous ensemble nous formons. Au mois de décembre, lors du Conseil européen, quelques semaines après ces tragiques événements, tous les États membres sans faille l'ont déclaré, nous sommes et nous voulons être aux côtés du peuple albanais. Notre soutien est sans faille, notre soutien est inconditionnel. La présidente de la Commission l'a évoqué, une aide substantielle a été fournie sur le terrain rapidement après le tremblement de terre, chercher ceux qui ont disparu, soutenir les victimes autant qu'il est possible, évaluer les dommages, tenter aussi de soutenir la distribution de l'aide. La solidarité de l'Union européenne prend des formes très concrètes. Et nous sommes aujourd'hui là, présents, mobilisés, et nous ne sommes pas tout seuls. Autour de la table se rassemblent aussi tous ceux qui peuvent et qui veulent soutenir l'Albanie et sa reconstruction. Nations Unies, Banque mondiale, États membres, institutions, pays amis de l'Albanie et partenaires internationaux. Et ce doit être là, à mes yeux, l'une des forces de notre Union européenne, inlassablement travailler à rassembler, à unir la communauté internationale autour de causes justes et nécessaires et être présent chaque fois au rendez-vous de la solidarité quand les circonstances l'exigent. Nous ne serons pas, mesdames et messieurs, un seul de trop. Réhabiliter les écoles, soutenir le tissu des entreprises à relever la tête, renforcer la protection civile, tout cela nécessite de travailler ensemble, main dans la main, et d'apporter notre contribution. Ladies and gentlemen, why are we doing this? Because we are one European family. Albania and the Western Balkans are not far away, faceless neighbors. They are an integral part of our continent. We have a common heritage, a common history, and there is also a future together. We are determined to intensify our relations with the region. We share common opportunities and challenges in a troubled world. We share interests spanning the political, security and economic spectrum. And we share a vision of unity and solidarity among countries and regions in Europe. Ladies and gentlemen, I am confident that today's conference will be a success, just as I am confident that the Albanian people will overcome these difficult times we build and move ahead stronger than ever. You can count on us. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Now I invite Prime Minister Edi Rama, Prime Minister of Albania, to hold his speech.
I must say that I'm deeply touched, and I want to start by saying very simply this: thank you, and please, merci, et s'il vous plaît, danke, und bitte schön, grazie, per favore, teşekkür ederim ve lütfen, shukran afwan. Wish I could continue in all your languages to say thank you. And please, if I may, in my own language, faleminderit, dhe ju lutem. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for your invaluable support so far. And please, I speak here for and from the heart of all Albanians. Please support us some more. Ju lutem. Thank you for accepting the gracious invitation of the President of the EU Commission to this special donors conference, for understanding how dark a time this has been for my country. So yes, please help as we try to recover from damages that go beyond our human possibilities and rebuild from the savage blow that befell us in the early hours of November 26 last year. Thank you, Ursula, to you personally, and to your amazing team. Thank you, Charles Michel, also, for having shown us from that first moment of shock to this warm, comforting moment of such a big gathering now, the soul of the European Union. This wonderful body that has done so much to advance peace and prosperity across a continent historically defined by war, and has given so much help to my country and the region I come from during 3 decades of struggle to build democratic states on the ruined foundations that communism and dictatorship left behind for our societies. You had your own earthquake recently with Brexit. I was so sad too, how strange it was coming as I from a country so desperate to be part of the EU, to see a great country like the UK decide to leave. How happy I would be if the gorgeous Albanian flag could rise to replace the beautiful British one that has been taken down here in Brussels. But I'm not saying please do it, because I know life is not that simple. What was it John Lennon sang? Life is what happens to you when you are busy making other plans. We were busy. We were making plans and making progress. Then the ground shifts. People swallowed up in it. The whole country in shock. And since then, it has all been about dealing with the aftermath. The other plans have to take a back seat. Nevertheless, it felt so comforting to discover in our tragic hour that we were not alone. With our dozens of dead, hundreds of wounded, and thousands of homeless, because we had so many great friends coming from the sky, from the sea, from the land, from the region, from the continent, and beyond, to be with us and fight with us to save lives, heal wounds, assess damages, and now seek to build new paths for the future. Faleminderit. Thank you, dear friends from Turkey, for the pledge you made, as the new European Commission did right in the immediate aftermath of the earthquake. Thank you, dear friends from the Gulf countries, United States, friends in Asia too, ready to pledge and work together with our European friends for this amazing conference. Thank you, dear friends from the neighborhood, the Western Balkans, to be here with me today and witness, through your presence and pledges, how much that turbulent region of ours has changed in the last years, and how real is our will to build for our children a totally different place than the one of bloodshed, conflicts, disputes that kept hostage the people of our countries for endless generations. Thank you, dear friends from the United Nations, World Bank, EIB, EBRD, KfW, League of Arab States, and many more. Faleminderit. There is no limit to the gratitude I feel to all of you. The mere fact that you all are here today is heartwarming and emotional for me personally, and I believe for all Albanians, those watching us at home and those who live and work in a lot of your countries. So many of them hoping one day to come back and live in an Albania that is developed, prosperous, truly European, as the dream we believe in and fight for every day. for all the help you have given to all of us in that extremely difficult journey. Thank you. Olivér. So often we have felt as though we are in a fight for survival. 100 years ago, as our region emerged from the Balkan Wars and the whole world sought to recover from the war that was supposed to end all wars, it is no exaggeration to say that we faced the risk of annihilation. The many curses of our history stood as obstacle to a better future. The Versailles Conference was a moment of existential threat. But our friends came good. The United States, France, Italy, Switzerland, Turkey, Britain, all ensured we were given the chance to show we could take our place in the League of Nations. At the dawn of the 1920s, Albania was excited by the idea that a better future was possible and made its efforts to work towards it. But that First World War did not end all wars. The Second World War followed, and with it for Albania, 4.5 decades of the most brutal form of communist dictatorship. This, I might add, in the only country of our continent that had more Jews after the war than before it, thanks to the unbreakable code of hospitality and religious fraternity, which we proudly cherish as a light of our eyes still today. But the curse of history was back, and we were prisoners once more, the North Korea of Europe. We knew there was another world not far away, and we wanted to be part of it. That world was Europe, this Europe, here and now. It was the dream, the ideal, the inspiration that kept us going, and still does. There is more than one reason why we, Albanians, are yet Euro fanatics, I must say. A kind of unique species in the continent of today. And so toward to 2019, at the eve of 2020, when two grim sores were opened wide, one physical, one political, both combining to leave millions of Albanians at home and around the world utterly distraught. The physical one is the reason we are here, the earthquake of November 26. But even as the first tremor struck, we were still grappling with the consequences of the political earthquake of October 18. That day too was a dark day in our calendar, when the European Council could not decide on the official opening of accession talks with Albania. Believe me, the tremors ran deep into our minds and souls. We are, of course, not the only country in the world to face natural disaster, though the earthquake was the deadliest of 2019 anywhere in the world. But we are a small, relatively poor country. Big, rich countries can face disasters on their own, and we have seen many times America and other great countries responding to natural or humanly provoked disasters and responding stunningly well. For smaller countries, it is not so easy, though I am hugely proud of how well we coped in the immediate aftermath. Every life lost was a tragedy, but that we managed to keep the death toll at 51 was in no small measure down to how well our nation reacted when disaster struck. Communities rallied around. We saw real courage as people rushed to help their neighbors, disregarding the threat of more tremors. In the most memorable show of unity I have witnessed, we did a remarkable job in incredibly difficult circumstances, pulling people out of the rubble, finding accommodation quickly for everyone without homes, supplying with them with food and warm clothes. But again, without the fantastic rescue teams and the hand of solidarity of many of the countries present here, the European Union first and foremost, the death toll and the many wounds would have been far greater. Thank you, Olivér. So now the dead are buried and their loved ones mourn, whilst also, as we must, looking into the future. A future made more challenging when we know that 17,000 people were left without homes. Thousands of buildings, big and small, need to be renovated and fortified. Critical infrastructure needs to be fixed. 53 national and World Heritage cultural monuments to be saved. The final post-disaster report suggests we'll need in the order of €1 billion to repair the damage. To rich, big countries, not exactly small change, perhaps, but manageable. Mine is a country of 4.2 million people, of whom around a third live and work abroad. We have a GDP of €13.5 billion, average salaries of €420, and need to face a direct damage equivalent of 6.4% of our GDP, plus a loss of 1.1% of our GDP. To us, it is a huge sum. We cannot do this on our own. We are short of money, and even more than that, short of time. So yes, for sure, I'm here with a very direct plea. Please help us with the grants and the bearable loans we need to rebuild our shattered homes, communities, and confidence. Please meet our suffering with the generosity it needs. We will do all that we can, and even more than we can. I ask you to do just what you can to help. You do them. And to my friends in the European Union, the help we ask for goes beyond the financial or the immediate. Earthquake or no earthquake. Death toll or no death toll. Please understand how important to us is the Zagreb summit on the Western Balkans in the following May under the chairmanship of our great Croatian friends. And what we hope should bring a green light to walk further in our yet long European journey ahead. What happened in November may be called an act of God or the force of nature. We are powerless as they strike. We have no choice but to accept these phenomena and try as best as we can to save as many people as possible and to bring life back to normal as quickly as possible. The political earthquake we suffered a month earlier was man-made, avoidable. To the families and friends of those 51 souls lost, the real earthquake in November is the worst thing ever to happen. But for the country as a whole, what happened in October felt like the curse of our history was striking yet again. I'm not here to blame anyone. I know that the enlargement process is just one of not few issues under discussion within the EU family, a difficult one in the not at all easy times the Union live in. But for us, who had done so much to be ready to move from preparing talks to accession talks, then to be denied that move was indeed a body blow. We were totally gutted, like the wind had been kicked out of us. We felt hurt and, let me say, humiliated. Please understand and appreciate the depth of those feelings. They spring from our understanding and appreciation of the good the European Union does in the world and our desire to be part of that. But they spring too from frustration. We did everything we could, and basically everything that was asked of us. Yet the answer was no. So 2 body blows in quick succession. But we are still standing and still full of hope that we can do, and we will build that better future that we owe to our children. I'm really encouraged by the way the new Commission has supported us through both earthquakes, the physical and the political. And I'm encouraged by both the new methodology proposal France has put forward to address and assess the accession talks in the future, and the prompt reaction of the new Commission to make the best out of it, by so creating the conditions for unleashing new positive energies here in Brussels and back home as well. So if the end of 2019 brought 2 bad days for my country, let this day today mark 2020 as a year of reconstruction, solidarity and hope for Albania, and I very much wish for the European Union itself, because I strongly believe the interest is mutual as the future between the European Union and the Western Balkans. If Robert Schuman was right, and he certainly was, when he declared that Europe will not be made all at once or according to a single plan, it will be built through concrete achievements, which first created de facto solidarity, then this gathering is by no doubt one of those concrete achievements which create a de facto solidarity. Allow me to conclude this parenthesis on Albania and Europe by leaving to all our European friends here the following note of a very special French, a great political and humanist figure, high-level diplomat of the French Republic, and visionary founder of the Human Rights League. His name is Justin Godard. I have to switch a moment in French and quote, "L'Albanie m'a ému. Égoïsme individuel, familial, local, national, c'est toujours l'égoïsme qui mène au sacrifice du plus faible par le plus fort. En Albanie, pour la première fois, j'ai senti qu'il y avait non seulement des êtres, mais des peuples qu'on ne pouvait pas abandonner sans honte à leur faiblesse." I have to precise that this striking note wasn't written on October last year, but 100 years ago, in a beautiful book titled L'Albanie en 1921, Albania 1921. Dear and precious friends here today, big or small, rich or poor, near or far, we all are just people. And you will never ever regret being today's best friends of Albania. We may be small, but we are big of heart. We may be poor, but we are rich of character. And we live according to the principle set out in the first paragraph of our old common law. The house of the Albanian belongs to God and to the guest. Anytime, all of you, you are welcome to be our guest of honor from now until the end of times. Thank you for coming. Thank you for listening. Thank you for your support. Faleminderit. May God bless you and all your countries.
Thank you very much, Prime Minister. And now let me invite Andrej PLENKOVIĆ, Prime Minister of Croatia, to the floor.
Thank you very much, Oliver, dear Ursula, dear Charles, dear Eddie, Milo, Anna, and Prime Minister Spasovski, dear ladies and gentlemen, friends of Albania, if I may call you that way today. I'm very pleased that so many of you are attending this Albania Donors Conference, and I particularly would like to thank to Ursula von der Leyen and the whole team of the European Commission for organizing it, because one of the fundamental principles of the European Union is solidarity. And this solidarity is on full display today, both European and global. Albania, our close Adriatic neighbor, and its people were hit by a horrible earthquake that took away 51 lives, injured over 3,000 people, and caused major infrastructural damages around Durrës. Swift reaction by the Union to the crisis in Albania and the organization of this conference demonstrate that the European Union is effective in implementing its concepts, in particular the humanitarian development nexus. The EU has already developed an extensive cooperation with Albania, a country whose future belongs in the European Union. Therefore, Croatia is organizing the Zagreb Summit, which Eddie just mentioned, with the support of Charles and Ursula, in order to reinvigorate the institutional dynamics of our neighboring countries from the Western Balkans towards the European Union in the years to come. When we received the news about the earthquake on the 26th November, we immediately dispatched 15 rescuers and 8 search dogs who will fly directly to the earthquake-hit area by the Croatian Air Force. 2 days later, my government adopted a decision to send a humanitarian aid in worth of 1 million Croatian kunas in tents, sleeping bags, blankets, sheets, canned food, first aid kits and power generators. The Croatian Red Cross complemented further aid in the weeks to come, and through European Commission's Emergency Response Coordination Center for Civil Engineers, we immediately deployed a team of 5 engineering experts and 3 civil protection experts. Last week, my government donated a sum of 1 million euros aimed at reconstruction and infrastructure in the area of health and education. While providing our aid, our main concern should be to listen and follow the requests made our friends in Albania. Our assistance has to be focused and partner-driven. Only that way our assistance will have long-term sustainable effect. We are here to be working better together and help our friends. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Prime Minister. And now let me invite my colleague Janez to present us the video about the earthquake and the emergency response that has been provided there. Thank you.
President von der Leyen, President Michel, President, Prime Ministers, distinguished participants, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon and welcome also from my side. I'm really grateful for everyone to be here today. Before we watch the video, let me just say that no image and no words can fully describe what Albania went through last year in the early morning hours of the 26th November and in the days that followed. That was a very strong earthquake, the strongest in decades. And it hit the western part of the country, affecting mostly densely populated Tirana and Durrës. It claimed dozens of lives, it injured hundreds of people, more than 11,000 houses turned to rubble, and tens of thousands of properties were damaged. There was also extensive damage to schools, health facilities, and public infrastructure. The impact of the earthquake on public services was severe, and many people in the affected areas saw their livelihoods vanish. All this in a matter of seconds, seconds that lasted for eternity. The intensity of the earthquake and the scale of the damage made it impossible for the local authorities to cope on their own. So, on the very day of the earthquake, Albanian authorities requested European assistance through the Union Civil Protection Mechanism. The response from the member states and other states participating in this mechanism was immediate, and it was generous. Within only a few hours of the disaster, the European Union search and rescue teams were operating on the ground. In Brussels, the Emergency Response Coordination Center played a central role in facilitating the arrival of in-kind assistance. On the day after the earthquake, the EU Civil Protection Team was already in Durrës and in Tirana, coordinating the assessment of humanitarian needs and the collection and distribution of in-kind assistance. The EU Civil Protection Team also led, together with the Albanian authorities, the assessment of damage. The Damage Assessment Coordination Cell, which was set up for this purpose, was crucial for a quick, well-coordinated and reliable process of damage assessment. It coordinated hundreds of international structural engineers and provided input to the post-disaster needs assessment report that colleagues from the European Union, the United Nations and the World Bank will present to you shortly. On the 5th of December, just days after taking the office, I visited the affected region in Albania. I met with the Albanian authorities to express European Union solidarity in those challenging times. I spoke with diplomatic corps and the UN resident coordinator to make sure relief and assessment efforts were well coordinated. I announced emergency aid relief for immediate food, shelter and psychosocial support to vulnerable people. And I visited some of the worst affected areas to assess the situation. I spoke to some of those who lost their homes. This, I must say, was not an easy experience. But at the same time, I saw firsthand the incredible commitment of the Albanian and European Union's first responders to save lives and alleviate suffering. And I want to use this opportunity to thank each and every member state that contributed for your generosity and for the support offered to our Albanian neighbors. Ladies and gentlemen, we stood by Albania, providing emergency assistance for as long and for as much as it was needed. But European solidarity does not stop where emergency ends. The devastating earthquake showed the importance for Albania and for us all to be well prepared for a crisis. The EU stands ready to support Albania also in improving its preparedness and resilience. The expertise, capacities and experience of our Union Civil Protection Mechanism remains available to the Albanian authorities for their efforts to strengthen the Albanian national civil protection system. Ladies and gentlemen, solidarity is the guiding principle of European civil protection. Solidarity guided European Union's emergency relief, and it will also guide European Union's recovery support to Albania. Thank you.
On the 26th of November 2019, Albania was hit by a devastating 6.3 magnitude earthquake. The earthquake was the strongest to hit Albania in 30 years, and it caused extensive damage in 11 municipalities, including the two most urbanized, Tirana and Durrës. People lost their lives, and at least 913 people were injured.
Pas 10-15 minutash më vjen një telefonat nga mjeku I shërbimit. Telefonata ishte shumë e shkurtër, hajde shpejt. Sapo arrita unë, erdhi dhe viktima e parë.
17,000 people have lost their homes.
Kena frikë me fletën dhe kena me të rrimë me frikë. Netën shumë të vështira, është lagështinë e madhe, ka në Frileje, ka hen këtu, në ftotën shkohet dimit tash, netën shumë të vështira.
Është e ngrohtësia e shtëpisë nuk ta jep. Askush, kemi nevojë për një shtëpi. Ju lutem. Kush ta dëgjoj?
Over 300 educational institutions and 30 health facilities have been damaged.
Atë ditë nuk kanë qenë fëmijë në shkollë, kanë ndodhur natë tërmeti, se mund të kishin kaluar një tmerr të madh fëmijët edhe u ngel ke për ta jetën.
Albanians from across the country and around the world mobilized immediately to support their fellow citizens. The European Union, its member states and other countries immediately sent aid, search and rescue teams and engineers. Solidarity is at the heart of our European Union. It binds together our cultures, peoples and languages. We stand for one another, and today we stand for Albania.
Now we continue with the presentation of the post-disaster needs assessment. First, I would call